Well, we're mic'd up once again with ESPN 1420's Scott Prather. So you know that means we're talking Pelicans basketball. It's been about 3 days since Hurricane Zion started to approach the shoreline. Scott, a lot's happened in a couple days.
It's wild. It's wild how a lottery can alter the future of so many franchises. And for the Pelicans, after everything that unfolded in January, to be where they are today, it's crazy to think. I mean, a year ago at this time, we're talking about them coming off of a sweep in the playoffs. Things are looking up. Then in January, things have never looked worse. And here you are. I mean, the waves of this franchise continue to amaze me. But luckily right now, they're way up. It's just awesome right now. Great time for the Pelicans.
Zion and his family, really Zion's family, his stepdad squashed the idea that Zion would go back to Duke for his sophomore year. So really, it's all moving forward. And moving forward means dealing with Anthony Davis and the next coming months.
Yeah, I don't think Anthony Davis is going to stay in New Orleans. I think ideally that would be best case scenario, right? Maybe he gets a new agency, change of heart, right? I mean, you could spin that easily. Guys, you know, I got a new agency. I was wrong. I want to stay here. He signs a Supermax. Now you're built to contend right now. That's not going to happen, though. He's going to stay with Clutch. They're going to end up trading him, I believe. And at this point, it's what's the best package they can get. But Zion comes in as an 18-year-old, and he's got as many Instagram followers as Davis does now, right? He's got an undeniable star power that we haven't seen out of anybody that's come out of the draft in years. Now, there have been some big picks that have turned into stars, but the moment they were drafted, Zion's as big as we've seen in a very long time. And, you know, I saw some estimates that valued the franchise at maybe $1.2 billion after they drafted, well, they haven't drafted Zion, but after they won the right to draft him, up to $1.6 billion. The value a young star like that can bring your franchise, regardless of how good you are in year one, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. So Gail Benson, she's pretty happy right now.
We know the players for the Anthony Davis sweepstakes are really the same. It's the Knicks, it's Boston, it's LA. There's probably going to be a third team involved in a deal, maybe someone we haven't really talked about much. Is there a possibility, though, David Griffin says, Anthony, we're going to have you play with Zion. We want you to see what it's like. We want you to at least feel it for a minute and take the whole Anthony Davis sweepstakes up to the trade deadline?
It's interesting you asked that. I mean, I would say absolutely not, but Zach Lowe, who does a good job, one of the national guys that actually does a good job of covering the league, he made a reference on a podcast to them maybe tinkering with that. You know, can we do like Paul George and OKC and show him, give him a few months maybe to play with Drew and Zion? At least that's how I read it. But I just think that's way too risky. It could backfire, and then once you get to the trade deadline, every team knows, well, you got to deal them, because if you wait till the offseason, you get them for nothing. So you lose a lot of leverage. I know that David Griffin's very confident. Obviously, he's very positive. But ultimately, I think that's maybe just a leverage play, right? You put that idea out there. Now other teams are thinking, ooh, maybe if they convince him to stay, we should up our offer a little bit to try to get him now. I think everything that's out there is all a leverage play. Ultimately, I think he's going to be dealt sometime this summer.
If the Pelicans make a move with New York, with a team I have always thought they're going to make a move with, and I still think they're going to move, it's going to be R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett's going to be part of that package. More than likely, you assume Ja Morant goes to Memphis.
Sure. You
get R.J. Barrett there in the 3. How exciting would it be to reunite these two guys, these two Duke stars, back in New Orleans?
That would be cool, right? I mean, they were really close. They didn't play on high school teams together, but they were really close. They probably feel like they have some unfinished business at Duke. You know, Frank Jackson's a Duke kid that's on the team right now with the Pelicans. So you would have some ties. I think it would certainly be good from a marketing standpoint. You know, I guess if you wanted to play devil's advocate, does having two young guys that are that close, do they branch out, maybe get as close to some of the other older guys on the team? Do they kind of stick together too much? I doubt it, right? But all of these things are going through your head. But ultimately, if you make a deal with New York and you get the 3rd overall pick, R.J. Barrett's sitting there. I mean, all of the NFL draft pundits, all the scouts feel like you got Zion, Morant, R.J. Barrett. And then after that in this draft, it's kind of you'll get 8 different answers from 8 different scouts as to who goes next. So it's a very top 3 player heavy draft. And that's why the Lakers winning the 4 spot instead of the 3 spot is actually really big. Everyone says, oh, well, the Lakers got more ammo in a potential trade. That's true, but so did the Knicks, and they're one spot ahead at 3 and a 3-player top-heavy draft.
Yeah, let's be fair. A lot of NBA teams don't look at that 4th pick as different from the 10th pick as opposed to the 3rd pick from the 10th pick.
Correct.
There's a mile between the 3rd and 10th.
Absolutely.
There's a lot less distance between 4th and 10th. I like the kid out of Vanderbilt, but that's a story for a different day, the point guard out of Vandy. But, well, Scott, I appreciate having you on. And Pelican season will be back before we know it. And, the draft is here at the end of June. And then the NBA free agency starts July 1. A lot of time for a lot more stories to talk about.
Expect a lot of rumors, expect a lot of hot takes, but at the end of the day, no expectation. We know the franchise is more valuable today than they were a week ago at this time. You don't sell 3,500 season tickets after a draft lottery for no reason. The Zion factor is absolutely real, and it's just great for the franchise and sports fans in Louisiana.
Zion fever is real. You can follow Scott over on Twitter at Scott_1420.
That's
Did I
right.
get that right? At Scott_1420. Scott, thanks for coming on.
You got it, Andrew.